Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Natasha Smith. I'm one of the librarians in the literature department at the Parkway Central Library. Before we begin tonight's program, I wanted to share that the Parkway Central Library is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 p.m. And also, before we get started, I wanted to share that the next open mic poetry event at the library will happen on Wednesday, April 5th at the Parkway Central Library. This program is called The Language of Food and Poetry, and it's a collaboration with the Culinary Literacy Center, and we're really excited about it. So feel free to sign up if you want to read a poem about food. I'm going to drop a link in the chat momentarily. So to get us started this evening, I'd like to introduce our Monday Poets host, Warren Longmire. Thanks, Warren.
Thank you, Natasha. And hey, welcome everyone. So pleased to have you here at the Monday Poets reading series. We are entering our 24th year of bringing in talented poets, both from near and far, with local and national reputations. Beautiful to be able to see all of y'all. We have 62 people up in chat right now. And yeah, it's been amazing just over the past couple of months to see this reading series grow. So thank you all for coming through. And encourage you to put in your comments and celebrate these wonderful poets inside of chat as we go along. Today we actually have two poets that straddle the line between genre and also professional experience. We have Catherine Bancroft, who writes and does art, or often combines them both together. We'll probably be talking a little bit about your process there. How you doing today, Catherine? Doing good, doing good. You are muted. You're going to be up soon, but that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, really happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm very happy to have you here. And then coming in second, we will have Doris Ferleger. Doris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having us.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so without further ado, really looking forward to hearing your work. And as you hear the reading, once again, feel free to respond in chat. If you have questions, please put them in chat and we'll make sure to pass them along to the artist. But with that, let's introduce our first reader. Catherine Bancroft writes poetry, makes art, and sometimes combines them. Her poetry collection, The Square Where Andrea Sleeps, recently... Adrian, excuse me.
Ariadne, yeah.
Ariadne, there we go, Where Ariadne Sleeps. Recently won the inaugural A.V. Christie Series Chapbook Prize from Seven Kitchens Press. She has read her poetry at the Green Line Cafe, PAFA, Blue Marble Bookstore, Fergie's Pub, and other local spots. Her visual art has appeared at Muse Gallery, Third Street Gallery, St. Asaph's Gallery, Da Vinci Art Alliance, among others, and in one-woman shows at the Fernand Gallery in Bryn Mawr, Fireworks Gallery in Camden, one of my favorites for sure, and Waverly Gallery in Gladwin. Her current Ellis Island series in Conti crayon and acrylic was inspired by photographs of early 20th century immigrants. Early in her life, she taught English to high school and college students, wrote book reviews for the Philadelphia Inquirer, the New York Times, and Miss Magazine. She is the author of 2 children's books, including Felix's Hat, and you can see her Ellis Island images at her website, catherinebancroft.com. Please snap your fingers, go and chat, or otherwise give your attention to Catherine, please.
Thank you very much, Warren. And thank you, Juanita and Natasha, for putting this together. I'm very excited to be here. I'm a big fan of the Free Library and the Monday Poets. I'm going to just start right in with a poem, and I don't want to say that this poem describes the enterprise or calling of poetry, but somehow it seems a good place to begin, and it's entitled The Boy Band in the Mental Ward. I need to know how to turn on the keyboard to play, and if these are patients playing with wet sponges shaped like frogs. The small boy William, who calls himself Brian, had asked me, though I'm neither male nor young, to join his boy band, nor can I play. I keep going through graffitied doors to mysterious rooms beyond. What key will the first song be in? G, he whispered. I tried to picture, did it have a sharp or flat? Spoke in a frog voice to the patient as we squeezed our sponges, watched darkness come over the hill. The relaxed attendants' faces and the devoted parents of the red-haired boy who set up their folding chairs to be near the keyboard he and I sit behind. The permission given to go into an unknown world. I sit at my loon's keyboard, the one called plunge on, which means dive down. A loon's cry across the shadowy lake of dusk. I know nothing, am invited to play. The next poem I'm going to read, like the one that I just read, as you may have guessed, is based on a dream. I'm a big fan of dreams, have been my whole life. And I'm also a believer that poetry can be defined, as people have defined it, as dreaming. I'm just looking for the exact quote. Poetry is a dream dreamed in the presence of reason. So this dream, I think, is something about where we are as a country right now. And I'm offering it in homage to Women's History Month, since we're in that. As though from a window while traveling to the voting place. On the street, I go down to buy eggs, a temple. Don't shake the box, they'll leak against the foam. The temple is gray stone. A goddess being lowered onto a pediment. Or is she being taken away? Can't tell today. Learning to go down a ski trail on a mountain bike. Don't look at your wheel, the instructor says, look ahead. Where you look is where you'll steer. I carry them carefully, each in its holder, each cushioned by foam on the car ride home. John Cage said, each now is the time, the space. I have gone 15 years to the same egg place. Some will break, some have a crack you can't see, some stick to the bottom. I long for perfection I will never see. One day I'll take a train to the end of the line for $1.10. Ride an old caboose with open sides, go where I've never been. I see the woman. I see her hanging above a place I've known. She teeters and is beautiful. In his lecture on nothing, Cage says, regard it as something seen momentarily as though from a window while traveling. Hope is like that. One may return to it, he says, or you may leave it forever and never return to it. Swings in the air, looks for a place to put her feet. For we possess nothing, he said. They can break in the carton. We carry them home. So one theme that I realize is very much in my poems, and especially recently, in addition to dreams, is body. And it's really interesting to realize how much body has her own point of view on things. This is called Toast. Toast. I have to walk relaxed in my body, or I am good for nothing. I say banana to myself, getting the vitamins out. Will forget to take the banana off from its brothers if I get the vitamins out first. Have to remind myself, banana. For body, those petty reminders of little moment compared to her desire to swing in easeful breaths from one side of the kitchen to the other. Her Majesty forgetting banana, though it's full of potassium, before it grows brown. We know nothing really about timing. It is everything. Age happens, body says after the fact. Yes, the oatmeal is ready. Told you, says body. You read the article about mitochondria, how intricately I work feedback loops, making the best of the bacteria that 1 million years ago made a truce with. Breathe deep, she says. So I do. There is the smell of burning. It is toast. It's a great liberation to let different voices within ourselves speak. And it's something that I've done more and more. It's part of an evolution for me from the world of teaching and being an academic and writing things like book reviews. It was an evolution that I think really started in some ways with writing the children's books. But in a poem, it's wonderful to not have to pretend that there's one point of view or even one person speaking. So this also is a poem that segues into painting for me. Naples Yellow. Periodically, I spend time with a neighbor's husband. We are on the floor of a hotel. We take walks and talk. It's companionable. Are you writing down a dream again? Over days, getting to know each other. One of the last times he took me to a large, double-sized furnished room. Turned out it was a suite for executives. He had access to it. Of course he did. Of course you went in. He was inviting me in. I was aware of the heat of his body. Look, it's taken 2 pages to write this. Time to get up. It was true. So I got up and said to the paint tubes, can we? The paint said, sure. It's been a while. None of us knew how long. The sap green was stiff and leaked out on my hand. The ultramarine blue decomposed into soil. Nothing would come out of titanium white. I need to remember to stay young, I thought. Are you in dream again? Naples yellow's thickness on a woman's face, applied with a palette knife, is a sweeping caress. At the end, something wrong with the lip. The hair may be too orange. The neighbor and I are not really suited. Can say that again. Does the expressionist craziness of color blocks on her face make her too much like what's tearing America into pieces? You're in your dream again. Oh, we all are, spreading it, our own untenable details, etc. Just keep going. Boring how predictable it is writing down the small of a day, what we try to make happen, what won't happen. We know something happens. Sometimes the painting is in the room with you. Must you always talk like this? Knows you better than you know yourself. I'm just going to take a second to show a painting that is on the cover of the chapbook that I did. So this is a Greek woman from the Ellis Island series. And it's kind of an example of what I'm talking about in the poem, about the freedom to make big color blocks, that are not literally true in any sense. And what is the point at which that doesn't work anymore and it doesn't cohere? And what's the point at which that happens in a poem too, if you let in different voices? And what happens in America if we keep being split and so polarized? So, I have different answers to each of those questions that I would give, and I'm interested to see what happens, what we all do. So this next poem is based on the experience of painting someone, again, usually from a photograph, but it becomes, well, it's called Dance. I must attend to him. The man turned to one side, the buttons on his coat, his outlawed feet, the small universe of his nose. If I shape him with my brush, the others recede, who are clamoring. One becomes a number again. I cannot contain all that visits in my dreams. Walk with me to the car, bring your dog, bring the steamship ticket, the stub of your McDonald's meal. I have no sense of time. I must get on a plane soon. Meanwhile, let's dance. Your arm around my waist, moving slowly, then faster. We are loose in each other's hold, circling like planets, the invisible sun. For a moment, a stranger can be held. A pen is like that in my hand. The floor is my canvas. I take you, trace where you came from in your eyes. The spinning stops, the dog runs free. We will find him down a forest path, gambling on his poodle legs. I run away, I return from you who I do not understand. You who shaped me, who still moves my hand. I wake in fear and cannot make it cohere, how you come and go at will in me, when you are here and when you are gone. So I'm now going to turn to one of, for me, the gods of painting, who is Pierre Bonnard. And he, like other painters that I admire a lot, Matisse and Morandi, for example, often paint the same subjects over and over, and they're often very domestic subjects. So this is called Homebody Man for Pierre Bonnard. You have to know what you wanted. You're missing it. You make it out of pieces, bit by bit. The ones around you see so often, the picture, the table. Is love the right word for the mother whose body we once lived in, attached to her by a cord, an electric plug, a motorcycle wire, zooming down the room with her? Is it love we feel for what captured us, brought us to earth, to term, oh school of 9 months, body with parts to study, out here in world, it's an orange, a table, a woman by its side, water on a curtain, shimmering in a bath. Okay, this next group is sort of love poems of one form or another, and that seems appropriate on the first day of spring. How it is. Are there enough people to kiss when I feel like this? When you feel like this in the early afternoon? On a bus going downtown, the man touches his Bible, puts it in his violin case. Bus driver singing 15th Street, me holding my senior pass. I haven't put it away yet. The picture is not me. I am today Miss Possibility. You far away and close. Tomorrow I will walk with you when the snow is gone. Okay, this is a different angle. Workshop. I went this evening to a workshop on past loves. Strike that, past lives, something I don't believe in. They're gone if they were ever real. Imagination is real. In the workshop, they give you snacks after. The casualness of having had many lovers, the simplicity of one from the start, neither describes my life. You need a jaundiced eye going from one to the other in the dark, not even remembering how the night breeze came. It's a trick to be where you are. Whoops, I meant to say nothing. There's absurdity in the plot, absurdity in letting go, in holding on. One person has been a fish, another is a boy standing next to a lion under stars. Actually, that was me. We all chewed rice cakes afterward in our imaginary mouths. That's actually based on a real experience. Okay, yet another angle. It is my luck. This is a half sestina, which is means it has 3 stanzas with end words rotating on a kind of prescribed basis. Sometimes they just rhyme, they're not the exact same word. It is my luck. If you were to touch me riding in a truck and a butterfly fell through the window, if on a boat on a cold river, a whale showed his back, my mother would pretend not to see. Her silver brush would admonish me. Your impossible hand diving in my sea can't go back. Disgrace would come in a UPS truck. The owl hoots at me, but the slow, voiceless river recognizes its meadow. Touch me, and the black paint falls off the window. The coral blooms again in a heat-trapped sea. I am a soaring cormorant over a contented river. You can fill a truck with me. It is my luck, because I keep larvae in the back. I take off my wings, renounce my luck, live by a window with a small river, glimpse the sea if you touch me. Okay, yet another angle. Turtle soup. A sound of whistling in the air. Overhead, a small turtle flies, head low, and hits the water. Then another. The best thing about a husband, ignore him most of the time. A turtle the size of a poodle hurtles through sky, white stomach, blue shadowed legs, over us, he too into surface of lake. A husband is a piece of furniture, a desk maybe, a solid table, chair. Meet life head on, sitting in a chair, him there. Why not? When a handsome man pushes his girlfriend, who is also my friend, into my arms, so he can push us both in, I let it happen. The bubbles drift against my nose, near us a turtle head swimming. It's exhausting, the ins and outs with strangers, friends, With a husband, it's ordinary again. You turn to each other. Moments of ignoring each other come too. The soup fused, carrots, thyme, the marrow of bones, turtle soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup. That was a song my father used to sing all the time. I never understood it, but it turned out he grew up, his mother, my grandmother, grew up in Philadelphia. I'd never been to Philadelphia before I moved here way after that. And she drank turtle soup, so he had that song. And this poem is about friendship and the love of friendship. This is about a friend. We've been friends since 5th grade. We still are friends. It goes on, and it's a miracle. Ghosts, children. On the stretching rug of welcome in the high ceiling lobby of the girls' school, girls move small, light objects, crepe flowers and moths across a board. I wish it were for everyone, to be chins on hands laughing, bellies on the rug. Once it was for everyone. You and I were 10. Each of us an owl in a dress, hanging from an earring tree. It hasn't happened. It happened outside us. All times are one now. It's all happening now. It's going fast. Ghosts come. Why did I never put it together that the dying comes with losing heart, losing who one has been, makes ghosts? Will we be born again? Can we be as children? We rise again each morning. As if it knows where it is going, the daffodil pushes up out of the ground. You and I, more than 70, still friends. Sometimes the stiffness in us bends. Sometimes the beginning comes again. Have we come to the end again? We didn't know we were children then, singing before we began. This poem is from the chapbook. Last bit of snow. My mother liked the ice in her drink. It clinked and rattled, kept her safe each evening when the sun disappeared, and she needed time to tell her what time meant, which it never did. Which doesn't mean she was unhappy. She liked her garden, making a souffle, stewed tomatoes. The wide hat she wore to the hospital after my father's veins were cut and moved, and he got over his hallucinations from the drugged sleep they gave him. I see her beside the long wood table, fresh in flowers, laughing, and the lung already harboring a cancer growing under the snow of her brave face. A warm day came last weekend and pulled the snow down into soil as water. Trickling, it was gone. The dead leaves soaking, the weeds numb with waiting till they could spread. Iris shoots unfazed and reaching sharp into the air like the silver knives with tapered tips she had, special for cutting the most delicate fish. Will you have some of the purple coming in its wavering, its strong tongue, its love of spring as is? Irish hand woven. When I came in the night, we had the fire in the lower field for New Year's. Falling wood gathered in the meadow where the deer were and the stream wound by. She was breathing in as softly as the blue looked. I was half still in the cold night air. Stars hung above the sparks, all the falling in the night that night. The blanket didn't go to the hospital with her. My father remarried. He died. I got the blankets, the two same ones that had lain on their double bed. I wish I remembered more. The blue is the way the curtain lets the sun through. It folds around me. It follows me. One thread has come loose, catches on my hand. One day I will have the courage to cut it. A Buddhist calls acceptance necessary. How lucky those who born love trains, their schedules, their arriving at the station far from where they started. Get rid of attitude, says Buddha, the source of suffering. My father came to tell me last night, well, it's all right, he sang. It was exactly him, though he was smaller. There was an audience. He was channeling George Harrison. And Buddhists, a whole gang of them, sang in the chorus line. Meanwhile, I was lamenting, I'd never know you as mine, hadn't dared tell you. I'm looking back at you from the train some of the time. Everything will turn out fine, my father sang. George Harrison died of cancer. my father under a surgeon's hand. I loved George, first of many. As the end came, we're going to the end of the line, they sang. My father had a guitar and some drums. People were clapping along. How am I doing for time, Warren?
I would say maybe 1 or 2 poems.
Okay, thank you. St. Lawrence Minky. So this is based on an experience about 5 or 6 years ago when we were on the St. Lawrence in Canada, and down at the beach, my middle daughter and I, my middle daughter Alice, and very close to us, we suddenly saw a minke whale. And there's something about meeting a creature that most of the time lives perhaps very near us, but unseeable because they're in their own underwater world. And I think that maybe reminds me a lot of dreams and all that goes on in us that we don't have awareness of most of the time. St. Lawrence Minke. When that which loves cold, the murky under, comes gleaming to the surface to make its arc, never its eyes, never its mouth, but the blow of breath. Hear it in the belly, the lover's snuffle. A river 12 miles wide is my bed. My mother bends to stroke me in the night. The exhale of my longing fills air so completely that cloud and storm-washed shore leaps its black slice up from silver water. We weren't made for the light of outside day. Your hand is on my back. During the month, I don't remember dreams, the sense sometimes waking I had of the world shutting a door on me, the way a mother would. An anthill briefly glimpsed. I couldn't remember Brad's name or even Angelina's. Wind curving its curtain of pregnancy. My math teacher took satisfaction at the board, making an ellipsis of dots. The boys called, "Hey, it's a female." I am not a windmill. I have no wheat to grind. I am sailing into room. The curtains bellow wind. The breeze confesses its desire for the window on the other side of the room, for the light the river holds, for whispering so softly no one hears. Late afternoon, most of the tourists gone, your fingers on my skin. There is nothing about our conscious self as we experience it from the inside that suggests it should be mortal. The dark birds riding the wave like a crosstown bus, the cormorants on the lichened rock with their medieval wings, the black curve of Minke rising from the river are from our oldest time. Au revoir, Monsieur Verlaine, Alice says. I believed he heard our innermost desire. And though we would drive the long, steep road down to the wharf to look for him, we didn't find him. That week, I began to dream. Okay, I'll stop there. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Catherine. Incredible cinematic work. Can definitely see the connection to dreams there for sure. And yeah, looking forward to talking about the connection to your painting practice as well once we come back in. So with that, I'm going to toss it over to our closer for the night. Doris Ferleger is the Poet Laureate Emeritus of Montgomery County, PA. That had to be called pretty soon, right? This was recent, wasn't it?
It was a while back.
It was a while back.
A while back.
The winner of the New Millennium Poetry Prize, New Letters Poetry, Songs of Eris Prize, and Arho CNF Prize, I believe I have that.
That's creative fiction. That's okay.
Got you. Thank you. Among many others, and is the author of 4 full-length poetry books, including Big Silences in a Year of Rain, As the Moon Has Breath, Leavened, and As for the Kiss, in addition to a chapbook entitled When You Become Snow. Her work has been published in numerous journals, including the Cortland Review, the Delmerva Review, and Poet Lore. Ferleger holds an MFA in poetry and a PhD in psychology and maintains a private therapy practice. Aliki Barnstone writes, Ferleger's memorable poems keep singing in their insistent beauty. Please give your full attention to Doris Ferleger.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Wow. I'm going to begin with a poem called Invocation. I'm going to tell a little story first. So David Simpson, who was a wonderful poet who died in 2015 of ALS at the age of 63, was a blind poet who told me a story about how his mother would take him outside and help him to get close to trees and feel the trees, and he'd hear the birds singing. And he didn't know what was making the sound that the birds were making. He thought it was the trees. He wasn't sure. So here's a quote from him. The trees and the birds in the trees had been singing so long together that no one on the ground would have thought to distinguish the bird from the tree. And here's the poem. To words and to the limits of words that make us trill and coo, rasp and moan, plead and sigh, like tree birds that fly their heavy trunks and blue beaks over the impossible garden. To the blind poet who reminds me the tree and the bird are the same breathing song and not the same. That it all depends on whether we hear with our eyes or the millions of eyes and hands and ears inside the body. That we all must, in the course of a lifetime, listen with roots and eyes, must sing everything we know. Though we will not be saved, we will be sung to. The next poem is What I Mean by Beauty. So I studied with Chris Burks for years, who died at the age of 78 in 2021, who taught so generously and would go through manuscripts with exclamation marks for the lines he loved, and did a whole semester on beauty. So what I mean by beauty. What I mean by beauty is not the strange magenta sky you said belonged only to me, or the regular blue sky with white clouds you claimed as your own because you believed only what you could see. What I mean by beauty is how you trusted me. Let my words wash over you, though you had no idea what I was talking about sometimes. When I said the sky's fire red feet rake across our bodies. What I mean by beauty is not the brilliant brooch of white moon against the eloquent deep blue, the kind of blue that enunciates and disrobes in the parking lot at the Home Depot. I mean how the heavy-set couple walks out of the store side by side, how each then drifts one in front of the other, how they look happy, unadorned, with white PVC piping poking out of their supersized orange cart. How they indulge me when I point to the sliver of moon the way a child might. How the woman with a blonde streaked wig stops her jalopy beside me, her front seat filled with marked down shiny fat-leafed rubber plants. How she says, "Oh, I see you got some too," though I got coreopsis with spidery leaves, pale yellow flowers, tiny stars. I agree with her, since she just wants to say, from one came many, and how we need each other. What I mean by beauty is when I point to the moon, the woman with the bright, abundant wig laughs and says, "You gotta love that." How she doesn't turn her head to look back at the white crescent. She is sure of love as she drives off with her rubber plants. What I mean by beauty is freedom. When I say freedom, I mean how the moon lifts us, seats us into the deep curve of her hip. The next poems I'm going to read are from a couple of my books, and they're much about my childhood as a daughter of Holocaust survivors. So the first poem is called Victory. My father used to check if I was breathing, even when I was 12 or even 13, lifted the king-size pillow, hugged over my eyes, listened for air. I never let on that I wasn't asleep. My father considered himself a success when he found his children still breathing. Each night, another victory over Hitler. So many things I didn't know back then. Things I did know. to pretend I was sleeping, to breathe loudly, to not be a burden. Rivers. When asked my birthplace, I name the wrong country. I say Shoah, Majdanek, Shtetl. I've taken on the names of rivers and the bottoms of rivers belonging to those I loved. River stones fell into my pockets. I almost drowned. The sound of river water sustained me. Now I lean beneath maples and listen to the bird calls and the spaces between bird calls, between trees and the river, between the river and the source of all rivers. Lifeline. I can't imagine Mama ever claiming loneliness. Mama with telephone receiver in hand and 2 surviving sisters on the other end of the line, at least 5 times a day back when party lines let them listen in on strangers' conversations, which could have been about private parts or potato soup recipes. Mama and her sisters who propped each other up in the roll call lines of Bergen-Belsen, Auschwitz, Majdanek, were never alone as long as they held the phone receiver in their hands until the husbands came home from work and the chicken baked a beautiful bronze. Mama would say Sarah or Hella, then turn. Mama would say Sarah or Hella, then turn her head side to side, look up into the blue or billowy sky. Mama would say, Sarah, her bunker was supposed to be safe, a safe one. Sarah, so beautiful, her teeth not so straight. Mama would say, Hella, too many sores to stay in the lifeline. Oi, stell dich auf, stand up, stand up. Mama would invoke the dead. A sudden crowd of starlings comes to roost in the tulip trees. Never such a symphony in Mama's shtetl. I myself am someone comfortable with tones about 1 decibel above the quiet of a library. Could I be gracious enough then to call it grace? The raucous starlings come to visit. Ancestral spirits making a racket in the tulip trees. Next poem is called Tashlich, or casting away. It's a particular holy day in Judaism. You'll get the idea. My son agrees to meet me on the footbridge after he runs and sweats for miles. Even lets me place on his head the sky blue kippah I've stolen from synagogue this morning. And the 2 of us tear into uneven bits the ritual bread I've brought and toss into the creek the crusts of our afflictions, a year's worth of what some call sins. Creek waters course, carrying our regrets downstream over sticks and stones. I used to worry as a child the fish might eat my sins and die. We recite the prayer of penance we each know, heart by heart, year by year. This year he closes his eyes for a long time, then looks amber and intent into mine, his deepest way of showing sorrow for words spoken as shards that don't resemble a history, except sometimes when the night winds blow terribly and moonlight bellows between branches. I imagine we live in a ruined house, and I speak my regrets for words that surely dented his heart. As a child, he used to sing, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will always hurt me. Today on the footbridge, on the first day of the Jewish New Year without his father, he says September is a grieving month. And I say perhaps it is grief that causes all discord, grief left ungrieved. Or is it fear of weeping or shame of needing to know we are loved? So I've studied a lot with Donna Baer and Stein, who is teaches a course in spiritual poetry. I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but I wish her well and I'm grateful for her course. What I pray to the elevator chef for its grease and fluid grace, for the dip in my knees at the end of the ride to the 24th floor that reminds me to bow, to the mechanisms that make me not fall into story after story I tell myself, stories I pray will end so I can know what is true, to loneliness, to chocolate bliss, and to the opiate comfort of self-forgiveness that sees to the center of things. In childhood, I poked my pinky into the underside of each Whitman candy from the fancy yellow box in search for only the ones with raspberry centers. I can't say why I trusted my mother would forgive my indulgence, my lack of consideration, my longing for the sweetest pink inside. Perhaps I was young enough to imagine what I hid from Mama's view was invisible to her. Mama never said a word except years later when she saw me toss an entire heart-shaped box of dark chocolates someone sent me because I didn't trust myself to eat only one at a time. First taste of salt. My brother was my first crush. Mornings, I'd watch him pour a small pyramid of salt into his palm, pop it into his mouth, take a giant bite of buttered, thick-seeded rye Mama bought at Bogoslavsky's one block down. Watch him take a fat swig of OJ, fresh squeezed by Mama, who pressed hard on the silver lever that made the silver dome bow down to the fruit. As for me, I'd lick the coarse salt grains off a salt stick, imagined it a salt lick, and I, a chestnut mare, who could whinny and neigh, say exactly what I wanted just by a toss of my head, swish of my shiny dark mane. Salt to nourish my nerve cells, give me courage to trust. A horse is trustworthy only after you've earned her trust. Holocaust kids barely trust who will stay alive. My brother didn't seem to notice my crush, never entered my room, though there was an adjoining door, except once when Mama asked him to teach me to tie my shoes. He sat beside me on the pink linoleum floor covered with blue and yellow diamond shapes. I would count instead of sheep. We sat beside my rocking horse. My horse had a happy pink saddle, a yellow mane. Short time in America. Papa would slide his foot in the doorway of the red brick row houses on Wyoming Avenue, our quadruple wide street, trolley cars trundling by even in the dark. Papa would turn his bent knee into a tabletop, balance his beat up suitcase, pop the lid, pull out little snowsuits and sweaters, baby blues and pinks, two happy snowmen embroidered over the heart by Papa on a giant magical machine that stitched 6 snowsuits side by side, all at the same time. I love to see the snowmen come to life stitch by stitch in rainbow threads. Sometimes Papa brought me with him door to door saying, "Please, lady, please me. Short time here, me. This my lucky daughter born in my lucky number." Papa, number 13 of a few truckloads of sturdy men chosen for the lifeline in a shtetl emptied of each sister, each parent, each rabbi, each cousin, each friend, each book, each dirt road he had walked, head down for 19 years. In Khmelnyk, he said, I was involved in yarn and fabric. We were hiding it in the ceiling and under the floor. And every few weeks, we would take out a piece and sell it, and we would have what to eat. And we didn't eat much, you know. When I married, Papa bought me and my husband a big house with 2 carriage houses behind. And one sunny, warm day, he came to the door of the carriage house carrying in his arms, one atop the other, chin holding them in place, 6 cardboard boxes full of spools of yarn, emerald green, royal blue, cardinal red, Christmas tree-shaped spools. He pulled down the retractable ladder, climbed to the attic, climbed down, content to return empty-handed. Decades after Papa died, I recall the threads, climbed the ladder, opened the boxes, dug my fingers into the crumbling bright rainbow dust meant to save my life. So the next poem is called When the Night is Near as a Bird. And before I read it, I'm going to say that my parents taught me a lot about forgiveness. My mother especially. I know that my brother will know this if he's watching and listening. So their advice, my mother's advice to both my brother and I, when we got married was, you know what the most important thing? To forgive. Every night you go to bed, you have to forgive first, no matter what. So here's the poem. When the night is near as a bird whose nest has toppled, and the bird seeks out the cotton of your shirt to curl into. Such a risk the bird takes to love a human. Humans being such scared, thus hurtful creatures, who the sky forgives by offering up its blueness, and the bird forgives by flying and folding its wings at your feeder, and by its beak that pecks at the thistle in your feeder. When the night is near as a bird, the unforgivable is forgiven. And I'm following that by a poem called Couples Therapy, Chapter 1, The Shattering, written based on an assignment of Leonard Gunterek, who I know is here. Thank you so much for all your assignments, Leonard. And it follows the forgiveness poem because as a couples therapist, it's very painful to watch and listen and have space and make space for forgiveness on both people's parts. Couples Therapy, Chapter 1, The Shattering. And here's a quote from Mark Strand to begin it. We feel caught in a wake that offers no possibility of catching up with whatever has departed. We feel caught in a wake that offers no possibility of catching up to whatever has departed. Couples come to therapy when what has departed appears to never have existed. And the present is filled with requests for emptying the dishwasher or filling it the way it is meant to be filled. Not one bowl stacked over another, then hiding the evidence by closing the metal door that locks by accident and starts the machine a-worrying. How could you? How could you? How could you? Couples come to therapy, one empty of hope, the other hoping that the therapist will fill their partner with whatever they believe their partner was filled with before. The milk of compassion to soothe every heroic sore of unspeakable loneliness. What has departed are the smooth skin on skin, yes on yes songbirds, child voices, such young comfort spoken to each other as one unbroken pink horizon of you get me, you'll always. Couples come to therapy when what has departed has long ago become, did you ever get me, really get me? Please see me, say to me, oh, what a good boy, oh, man of my dreams, oh, what a woman who sees only my finest, unsees all shaming things, says thank you for stretching, or says, I see you can't stretch any further now, or your arm would break, bones would shatter into pieces, and I would walk over your brokenness without noticing your wholeness is always in plain view if my eyes were only mirror true. That poem is hard to read. Wow, okay. So the next couple of poems are what one of my poet friends, Hayden Sonia, I don't know if you're here or not, but calls my oracular voice poems. So sometimes these meditations come to me, and here they are. Instructions for how to keep the mind from going wild. Do not answer fire with fire. Clear as crest of sea, tell yourself, you are mine, my darling, oh so lonely one. I tend to you. I will tend to you. Be made of stone and star dogwood. Bloom old, teacher. Teach the way peace and war teach. Contain your fires before they spread beyond the world. Tend the wounded child left behind there. Sit with her at the opening of breath. Through the world runs one river. Go to the river, confused or crystal clear, each molecule awakening. And this next one is called Prophecy Says, and I love, Catherine, your idea of dreams being so important. This is based on a true dream. Prophecy says, be broken ground, be mud, clay, moldable, be silt, be luminous. Let the only certainty be love, be truthful, be questions with no answers, questions that come in dreams, even if the dream is a grenade and a boy being pulled belly down in a cowboy town, down a dirt road, the only road that leads to further questions. See, he can't seem to let go of the grenade. You can't save him. Trouble yourself, not about the boy or the sky. Trouble yourself about your state of awakeness. Sit down in your car, for example, with the motor off, windows open. Breathe in the leaves. Say nothing of the rootlessness that comes at times. No need to explain yourself to anyone. The mind is inconvenient. It says too much and gives few true words. This next one is called Everything You Think Is Wrong. Everything you think is wrong, I once read, which made me laugh. I don't like to be wrong. I mean, for decades, I've been practicing being a container, so everything I have learned belongs in me, not to me. What have I learned? Break something other than glass. Stop spooning secrets into your mouth. Every wildflower is a lifeboat. Every awe, a necessity. Every sunbeam, a must to make honey. In every jar, the sun is a captured blessing you set free. Say what needs to be said. Empty your pockets heavy with stones. Because every woman is a woman who almost drowned. That's to women, of course, and I didn't even realize it was Women's Month, so thank you, Catherine, for letting me know that. Okay, I'm in Vermont right now with my love, and this is a poem about being here now. New beginning quietly forming in me. At the cusp of sun and snow meeting and melting into each other's nature, I peer through the long windows of my love's Vermont cabin at the birches' off-white and light gray trunks, lean and sway, and shadows too. I am asked by the trees to include, and the sound of my love singing as he's wont to do to the dog, a song of fanciful sounds made up of words, and the driveway's slick ice sheen, its treachery, and the mischief missing tooth of the dog, I am also asked to include. At the brink of 70, I'm leaving behind my claim on truth. Do I describe the closest birch as bare or bound to the one ruffled brown leaf still clinging? Here in this house, I am comforted by the crinkling noise when my love tears open the wrapper of deli sliced provolone. My bardo of sorrows sinking into background as foreground fills with a stunning stone floor he has lain at my feet in the new stall shower. River rocks I picture placing in his garden where chimes jingle against each other, long silvery tubes emptying and filling with the ringing wind. And these are the last two. Because we are the wind. Because we are the wind-driven ripples on the lake, as well as the boat's wake, and also the lake's glass stillness at sunrise, when it is impossible to imagine anything other than such peace. Because we are also the jagged rocks that jut up from the lake bottom, making boats need repair. Because we are the brokenness and also the beauty of repair. Last poem. Thank you, everybody. Joy's Thunder. You're sitting under the kitchen skylight listening to Roski's Book of Delights, and the summer day's rain suddenly turns to hail, and the hairs of your arms rise up like peacock feathered joy, and you feel looking up at ice pebbles pinging the slant roof, pummeling also your bed of red beauties, hellebore, coreopsis, all God's green, saying, this is the way you are meant to rise up, the way you are intended to flower.
Thank you so much, Doris. Unbelievable, beautiful, beautiful work. And the clarity of your voice in particular is really striking to me. And thank you, of course, as well, Catherine, for that gorgeous reading. Once again, we're going to take some time to be able to talk to these poets, to talk about their process, the different parts of their life that influence their work. And we welcome all of you. If you have a question that you want to pass on, or even just a message, to put that right inside of chat. Y'all are getting just tons of great feedback here. I gotta say, you got a lot of fans that are clearly here. First thing that I want to ask is, one of the things that I love about Monday Poets is that it's always poets that invite each other and are in some way involved in each other's lives. So I just want to hear a little bit about your relationship with each other, how you find yourself in the same reading tonight. Let me start off with Catherine.
Yeah, well, this is, it's quite wonderful that Doris is here. Originally, there was another reader, Cassie McDonald, who I want to shout out to. We miss you, Cassie, who was going to be here, but she had a family emergency. And I have to say, it's amazing that Doris was available and willing to step in. So how I know her is that she recently joined Leonard Gontaric's poetry workshop that I've been in for a very long time. And from the minute she came, it just did not take long to know this was an extraordinary poet in our midst. And it's just been fantastic to have her there, and really wonderful for me to hear more of her poems. I'm not sure if I'd heard any of them besides the couple therapy one, which blew me away. Having been in couples therapy, knowing other people in couples therapy, and just how much she says, and with such largeness of spirit and wisdom in all her poems. In that poem, it's very of the moment, because I think this is such a common experience. So anyway, yeah, it's really amazing, Doris. Thank you so much. And your poems about your childhood and your parents are really extraordinary. I feel they were here. They were in this space with us.
Thank you.
Yes, and you, Doris, would love to hear a bit about your relationship with Catherine and with her work.
Well, as she said, we're in the same group with Leonard Gontarec as the leader of the group, and he's been a wonderful teacher. And I've really enjoyed Catherine Kitty's work ongoingly since I joined in the summer, I guess this past summer. So I'm a shorter time duration in that group. And she came on and said, oh, Cassie can't come. And she's also part of our group. And can anybody step up? And I'm like, okay, I'm in. Really realize what I was getting into. But I'm really happy I did do this. And I feel honored to be here and honored to read beside Kitty, and have been really grateful for her work as well.
And I'd like to just add that the reason I've been in Leonard's workshop so long, and I'm not the only one, is because he has an extraordinary, I mean, it's just beyond words what he does, but he has an extraordinary ability to both see what it is you're capable of and to make space and give inspiration for it and encourage you while also having a very sharp eye. Doris was saying earlier that he sees the edges of what you're doing, which I think is a great way of putting it, and takes you right to your edge. So, yeah, so I just want to express how important his role has been for me with poetry. And yeah, it's very important.
For sure, yeah, and it's great to be able to see you, Leonard, wherever you are, out in Chatland out there. You've been a part of Philadelphia poetry for a very long time. A lot of thankful people, and yeah, definitely shouts to Cassie, who I've had the pleasure of reading with for a while. Was also like the head curator of the Fireworks Gallery space over in Camden for many years, I know. And that kind of brings me back to you, Catherine. I know you had some work that was exhibited there at some point. I would really be interested to know, kind of like, yeah, like clearly like sometimes your poems inform your paintings inform your poems. Kind of like what comes first? Is it kind of like you're doing like a self-aphrastic type of thing? Like how does your written work and your visual work play against each other?
I say this thing in that bio about how I sometimes combine them. I actually don't combine them that much. It's not in a formal way. I have done altered books where I put poems in and also, there's art in them. And I've done, but I would say in both, I feel I'm being pushed at my edge. And what I learn there, I bring to the other. And it's kind of a relief, maybe being somebody who's a bit ADD, that I can escape from one to the other when I'm feeling frustrated or stuck. It's great to be doing something just with my hands, no mind, no words, don't have to worry about the words, just let something flow through my body, put it on the canvas, see what happens. And then learning how to deal with what happens and the disappointments and the frustrations and the need to change it and revise it, and realizing, oh my God, this is just the same thing I deal with the poetry. And when am I going to be sick of it? Because I've been working on it so long and I'm going to ruin what it originally was. And then the same thing comes up with poetry. So, they're both an escape from each other, and they inform each other and they teach each other. And yeah, so I guess that's one thing I would say in answer to that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely nice to have an escape from your own work sometimes.
with your other work. I mean, maybe that's partly why in the poems, it's very exciting for me to let other voices speak, to acknowledge the divisions, to acknowledge that with each thing I say, there's a voice saying the opposite, criticizing me, but, often with a really good point. So what do I do with that? Okay, give it a voice and then see what happens. And yeah, so it's great. It's like a marriage too. It's good to have, these opposing forces that ricochet off each other and require, as you beautifully put it, Doris, forgiveness. I mean, the fact that your parents taught you that is really extraordinary. My mother used to say the same thing, don't go to bed angry, she would say. And I just thought, why not? There's so much in the world to be angry about. I didn't get it at all. So I do understand it now.
And yeah, going over to you, Doris, to continue to be in private practice and to, it's interesting because you're involved in a field that is so much about listening and taking things in, but your voice is so strong and so sure and confident in what it tries to give. Do you feel like your practice continues to inspire you? Or certain things that you get out of your creative practice that you don't get maybe as a psychiatrist?
As a psychologist, and I think it all blends together. Poetry, I will say, has saved my life more times than I can say. And maybe doing therapy also has saved my life as well. So, yeah, my voice is really clear, partly because I really feel into the poems in the moment, and I get excited about reading them. I say, oh, it's as if someone else wrote them. I just like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. And it's a funny thing to say. So I also want to, I guess, give a shout out to my late husband who died 12 years ago. And the second poem I read called What I Mean by Beauty was a poem dedicated to him, and the curve of the hip, the moon and the curve of the hip. And when he was dying, like really literally on his deathbed, he said to some friends who had come to visit with him, my wife is a poet. And it was such a blessing. And I took it seriously. This is what I'm meant to be doing. But I also believe I'm meant to be a therapist. I think they just inform each other. It's the best thing I can say. And sometimes I'll tell people to read a poem, or I'll read a poem to them. Like Naomi Shihab Nye poem about kindness. That's one of my favorites to read to people. And there's a poem called Odd Job of Bull Terrier by Derek Walcott that I'll read to people, just to help them get out of the trance of negativity in themselves or in their relationship.
You'll read that inside of a session sometimes if you feel
Absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Please. Oh, well, can I jump in for a second? I just want to say that reminds me of James Hillman, the psychologist, writing about how images, if you're in a place, if you're stuck in your mind with something, in a feeling or anger or whatever, if you make it into an image, it begins to move. And once it moves, you're not anymore in that exact same place. And it's a kind of magical thing. So I think there's something about making poetry or putting an image on a canvas, whatever form, that allows things to pass through us in a different kind of way. So it really makes sense. And it makes sense to bring poetry into therapy, although maybe I wonder, how do your patients react, or your clients?
They love it. They really do. I mean, it's really helpful. I don't do it with everybody, but I do it with people I think can be open to it. Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of what you were mentioning, Catherine, about just like making that space for the other kinds of selves that are inside of us, and letting them all speak. And yeah, that's very much, I think, probably what people strive to try to do inside of therapy. So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Want to be able to read some of these amazing comments that people are putting out to you. We have Patty here. Thank you to both of you for giving yourselves and your poetry to us this evening. You make the world more rich, more vibrant, deeper, and more real. Blessed to both of you. We have, let's see, Gail writes, Doris, your poems and readings are filled with beauty, meaningful stories. John and I so enjoyed listening to your beautiful stories. And let's see who else we have. Leslie Yu. Such a pleasure to read your poems, Doris. They are beautiful, wise. I remember some of them from your earlier manuscripts, and you read beautifully. It's like part of being in an engaging conversation. Yeah. And so with that, like both of you have been involved with poetry for a long time. You still find yourself like editing work. You're inside of a writing workshop together. Yeah. How do you stay engaged? How does it keep filling something up inside of you after all of the projects you've put out?
Catherine, you want to go first?
Well, I feel like I'm actually at a bit of a dry period right now. So it's, which happens. And that's, it's interesting. It's interesting to experience. However, having done it for so long, I have a lot of poems that need revision that I've written in the past. And maybe that's what this particular time is about for me. So it's interesting to go back with my eyes of the present and see what I see differently or what I would do differently. And that's, I know there are people like Marianne Moore who never stopped revising her poems, and that can be a real problem. And I definitely could fall into that. So it's one of the good things about getting things published. It's one of the good things about bringing them to workshop. There's a kind of finality, because it's so at the same time, suddenly something will happen that there's nothing to do except let words flow and see what happens. I mean, even in a period like this, something like that will happen, but it takes me a long time. Sometimes something will come out quickly, but often something will come out and I can just feel I haven't gotten where it needs to go. And it will be maybe even 2 years before I see where that could go. And I feel like it's a kind of inner growth that hasn't happened, that needs to happen before I know what to do with that poem. So it doesn't end. It's always a challenge.
That's really interesting to hear, because there's such a freewheeling kind of spirit to your poems. And you talk about writing off of dreams. Just kind of imagining what that editing process is actually like when a poem can go in so many directions. It's an interesting thing to think about. How does editing?
Dreams are helpful. Dreams are really helpful, because I do feel like I have a collaborator at night, and I can sleep. The collaborator will do something, or will give me some raw material to mess around with.
Yeah. What about you, Doris? And so, obviously, there's been, so many stories and histories are a part of your work, and those stories never stop. So yeah, how has poetry kind of changed over time as you've gotten these new experiences?
Oh, so I think it's changed in many ways, and in some ways has stayed the same. The books I've written, if you look at them, are a lot about my parents, and there's a book of elegies about my late husband, and there's a new book coming out also about my origin, but in a different way. But I think now, as the shattering poem, the chapter 1 of couples therapy, as we were talking about earlier, just among ourselves, I think it might be the beginning of a chapbook, at least, or a full-length book about relationships that is about the difficulties and beauties and the challenges and the victories of intimate relationships. And it is something I've always been interested in, and I have other kinds of poetry about it, but this would be focused specifically in that way. I never run out of things to write about. Partly, I'm in 2 critique groups, one with Leonard and one with Grant Clauser, who's that's the peer group of former poet laureates, and that group, people are critiquing each other's work, and with every critique comes a revision. So, and in Leonard's group, there's always a prompt every week. Every Saturday, I have to come up with a poem that meets the prompt, and the prompts are very intricate in structure, in theme, and the last word of the poem should be this, and the line at the end should be separated from the rest of the poem, and the theme is this, and these are 5 poems that you can look at to introduce you to what I'm asking for, and it's mind-blowing. So I have to say, I've never been anywhere where somebody's giving that kind of specific assignment that really helps me, and helps me come fresh to whatever is going on in my mind. Yeah. So
yeah, I can say that I think one of the things about those assignments, which Leonard, I think, is very deliberately doing, is, as he puts it, taking us out of our comfort zone. We develop certain styles, certain ways of approaching things. And when you have something that specific and you try it, and then you suddenly see something that you're capable of that you would not have known otherwise. Yeah. And it's also very frustrating sometimes. I mean, it's very hard, but it's fun too.
No, I'm sure. Oh, no, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to just ask Doris, I mean, this must be a question you do get other times, but how is it for you? I mean, I really admire how you write about people, as you say, it's kind of poem memoir. So how is it showing people your poems who may be in them, or how did your parents feel about your poems, or how do people, your people you're in relationship with feel about your?
So here's the story. I'll give you a story, little stories. So when my father died, well, I wrote a lot of poems about my father in the first book of poetry that I wrote, A Big Silence is in the Air of Rain. And people would say to my mother, so Miriam, her Holocaust survivor friends, she writes so much about Al, but she doesn't write about you. And my mother said, oh, when I'm dead, she'll write about me. So of course, my second book had a lot of poems about my mother. So I guess I did wait, in a sense, until she died to write about her. And I've written about my son, who I send my poems to, and I ask his permission to publish them. And he has said to me, I hope he still believes this, it's from your heart, Mom. You're writing your heart. So whatever your heart tells you to write, I'm in. I think I have run some poems by certain relatives that I have not gotten published because they asked me not to. So I generally ask permission, unless I think it's like a pretty no-brainer that they would love this poem. So I did write a poem a long time ago about Grace Paley before she died. I sent it to Jean Valentine at the time because I had had a conversation with her about Grace's being sick. And she said, do not put this poem out. Do not put this into the world until after she dies. And I waited. So I try to be respectful. That's all I can say about that, I think.
Thank you.
No, understood. I had a similar thought in thinking about your work with couples therapy, because I mean, we talked a little bit about, the fact that you had this series coming up. And I was thinking, okay, well, this is going to be some, like juicy, probably like semi-dramatic poems. And there was some drama in it, but it was like there was a certain just like tenderness and hopefulness that was inside of that poem that I really didn't expect at all. Yeah, I mean, like, is there like a real range to the feeling that comes out of that set of poems? Really interested in that project.
I'm just starting that project, so you have to wait and see. Nothing will reveal anything about individual people. So, couples come to therapy, as the poem says, with, of course, different stories, but the pain is so familiar. And it is heartbreaking, and it is something that I try to respect and understand that, and I've had my own heartbreaking and positive and wonderful, joyful relationship. So I understand what that's like to be in that difficulty and not see a way out, and then find the way out and get help with the way out. So yeah, I'm hoping to, and maybe give, I think I can do this anonymously. I think I can do this without, crossing any things.
Put things by people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, the themes, I'm sure, are so universal whenever you're.
That's it. It's like human beings are scared, sad, happy, angry, loving, and not so loving.
Totally. What's you, Catherine? So I know you're saying, like with writing, you're kind of going through like a more editing period, but is there anything artistically that you're excited about right now? It's kind of giving
I'm excited about putting together another manuscript. I come very late to this. I've hardly ever sent poems out. I mean, really virtually not at all. I'm very grateful to Moonstone here in Philadelphia for the way they encourage and solicit poems. So I've sent things there, but it just hasn't felt, I don't know, it just hasn't felt like what I needed or wanted, but I think I was wrong. I think maybe I did need it more than I thought, just because having the chapbook out has really made me see the value of having something that other people, for one thing, can look at rather than only have to hear at a reading, because I find it much easier to take things in when I look at them. And so, and then also what I said before about it being final, at least ostensibly, and then also just sharing it and having people, say things to me about what they liked or found puzzling or whatever has meant a lot. So I'm old enough, it's taken me a while, but I'm old enough, I think, to put together something else now. And that's exciting. I need to do that. And, time goes by, time is at my back. So that's good. That forces me to go ahead and face my fears of doing it and putting things out there and putting things out that are not perfect, etc.
It's definitely coming through in the work. That's for sure. Like, I mean, it was just, like I said, it's like cinematic. Like it goes in so many places, but it also holds together so well. It doesn't feel scattered at all, the work that
Thank you. Thank you, Warren. I really appreciate that.
A couple more little well wishes. We have Anne Labori, beautiful, heartfelt. Thank you, Kitty and Doris. We have Beth Bernal. Thank you, Kitty and Doris. Extraordinary and moving work. Enjoyed hearing both of you read and talk about your poetry and process. Many thanks. And let's see if there's one more. Oh, David Ferleger says, this is David, Doris's brother, still refilling the salt shaker. Same bread this morning, salt, butter, and salt. Thank you, Doris, for continued fullness, spheres within spheres of your poetry. Beautiful. And it was such a pleasure to be able to have both of you here, sharing your work. Looking forward to hearing about what comes next. And hope you both have a fantastic evening.
Thank you so much, Warren and Natasha and everybody who came.
Yay.
Yay.
So to all of you, thank you so much for coming through. From me, from Natasha Smith, Philadelphia Free Library, and of course, Monday Poets. Please check our website for our next readers. We'll be coming in end of the month, next month as well. But until then, have a great evening and enjoy yourselves. Take care.
Bye-bye.